too, Ryan. They're missing Dom Solis at that 174 spot. Their captain last year, and a lot of freshmen.
And here's the big one we were waiting for. At 184, it's Jaxon Smith and Gabe Arnold. Eddie Culkins, these two wrestlers have some history together.
Hey guys, Jaxon and Gabe, they both grew up in Georgia. They wrestled for the same club team. That's Level Up Wrestling. They are longtime friends, but they've only wrestled in workouts. This is their first time in competition. Maryland head coach Alex Clemson said that this week he was really hoping Gabe would go, and he got his wish. He said he thinks everybody in America would like to see this matchup. And I spoke to Gabe's dad, Phil, last night. He told me that this will never define them. Each one has helped them become who they are today. This match will only make them stronger, regardless of the outcome. And Ryan and James, I was watching them warm up. They were giving each other the side eye. They're ready for this one.
Oh, yes. Thank you so much, Eddie. Yeah, you can imagine that this is a special one for these two Georgians. We thank you for that work, and we thank Phil Arnold for his help with this, as well as sending in some videos of Smith and Arnold competing against each other in Georgia. But a special moment, the first time they've gone to get up against each other in a dual match setting, James.
Definitely a full circle deja vu moment, Ryan, out here on these mats, and this time in Maryland.
Work center.
Neither one's home, but now Jaxon Smith calls this place home.
Gabe Arnold from Albany, Georgia, and Maryland captain Jaxon Smith from Cartersville, Georgia, and Woodland High School. Back into the middle to reset it.
And Coach Clemson obviously verbally upset with the referee. No points were given to either Arnold or Smith on that last one.
Some discussion between Clemson and the referee crew, but they'll reset it in the middle. 42 seconds in here between Smith and Arnold. A top 11 battle in the nation's premier collegiate wrestling conference, the Big Ten.
Good with that.
Both wrestlers trying to establish wrist control here. How critical is that? This one, I mean, Ryan, I think this goes down to the third period. I don't know if either guy's gonna let each other get the pin.
Okay.
Well, that's
for sure.
That's hopefully how the script writes itself, right? Between Arnold and Smith. Again, two guys who have so much history from their young wrestling days in Georgia competing against each other. But finally, they share the mat here, going up against one another.
Know a lot about each other, I'm sure, but things change over the years as too, Ryan. So the techniques, the tactics, things you use to get the other wrestler in a dominant position.
So far, feeling out halfway through the first period for Arnold and Smith. And we thought, James, we might see Gabe Arnold on Friday against Penn State, but instead it's Iowa head coach Tom Brands who ends up making a different call at 184. He put his freshman Angelo Ferrari in there, and we referenced it earlier, but that was part of the load management that they wanted for Arnold to be in peak form for the Big Ten championships at Northwestern this year, and then all the way to Philly for the NCAAs.
Exactly right, Ryan. And we're supposed to see Arnold versus Starace. Did not see that matchup like we anticipated it, but how about a shout out to Angelo Ferrari?
Yeah.
The freshman did not let Starace get even a single takedown.
Not even a
It was
no.
impressive. His flexibility on the mat to stay away from that, keep his leg out instead of allowing Starace to get him in that advantageous position.
Still no score here between Smith and Arnold. Smith thought he had takedown for a second, tries for double leg again, and this one will go all the way to the mat side seats.
And now get the butter and popcorn out, Ryan. This one's going to turn into a movie. These two wrestlers are just getting familiar with each other once again, but it's going to get aggressive here.
Seen a couple buzzer beater takedowns so far between Maryland and Iowa. And 7 matches through, and the Hawkeyes holding a 13-point advantage over Maryland.
It's interesting, Ryan, coming from just a small gym where you're working out. No fans there, just your other peers, and to a packed place here in College Park.
Arnold has Smith's right leg, but Smith bailed out by the buzzer. You see Maryland head coach Alex Clemson. This was the call that frustrated him earlier, James.
Defer to green.
I don't know what he's looking for. I think he's upset that Arnold's playing on the outside of the mat.
Go ahead, Green.
I think that was a quick whistle maybe as well for Clemson. They were scrapping outside the circle. It's maybe Smith who had the advantage in that sequence, but the whistle quickly comes near the scorer's table and reset things into the middle of the center mat.
It's tough, Ryan, because the referees are looking, because both these wrestlers are playing on the outside of the mat. One has their feet in bounds, the other has their feet out, and then it swaps. It's tough for the referees here, and such a big matchup, too.
Arnold earns the escape point after starting the second period on bottom. Only point so far between Jaxon Smith and Gabe Arnold at 184.
Work center, guys.
Discussion about getting back into the middle
Work center.
between Arnold and Smith. Smith, just a few weeks removed now from his Big Ten Wrestler of the Week selection for the week of January 16th. First time in his career, the redshirt junior earned that award.
Green.
Anyone's fight here between Arnold and Smith. James, at some point in this second period, you're going to want to see one of these guys be the aggressor and go for a shot.
Yeah, you got to think that's coming soon, though, Ryan. But something just recognized, both these wrestlers have had approximately the same time off in terms of, obviously, Iowa just faced Penn State on Friday, but Arnold didn't wrestle like we talked about. So it's not, who's more exhausted in this competition, is who's got more fire and who wants this all-time win that goes back to childhood history.
Right. Both Georgians fighting for something that you got to think, James, that they've been talking about this and trash-talking each other about this for years to come.
Oh, I'm sure they've been, in each other's messages, DMs, talking about, good job, man, I saw your big win, but now this one's personal.
Smith tried to go for a shot right there.
Also here.
Well defended by Arnold. You mentioned the time Arnold's had off. His last time out was a sudden victory decision win over Ohio State's Ryder Rogotsky. You're right, about the same time was when Smith had a decision win, a top 10 win over Edmund Ruth in Illinois. So both guys coming off of close ranked wins. Some serious time off, and now they're ready for each other.
That one's going to wrap up the second period here, Ryan. I'm waiting for a takedown, man, salivating at the mouth to try and see which wrestler is going to, make the first move. We haven't seen any crazy action yet, but some near takedowns.
Just 1 point awarded to Gabe Arnold via the escape early in the second period. It's because he started on bottom, which is where Jaxon Smith starts now, one of the best in the country at doing just that. Winning with the hands, and they tie it up at 1. Not a second of riding time on the board yet, because neither wrestler has been able to earn a takedown.
And they're working for it. They just know they got to take the right shots, because in matches like these, Ryan, there's maybe only 1 or 2.
Fingers. Keep it clear, guys.
So going at the wrong time, giving the other player, wrestler in this instance, the advantage, that could be the only takedown of the match. Right now, that looks like that's what's going to happen. This one could go to OT, too, because there's not a single second of riding time.
That would be a fun one to say that as an understatement between Smith and Arnold in front of a good contingent of traveling Iowa fans and Maryland fans that made the trip over to College Park.
I think this one's tri-state too, Ryan. You got the Georgians coming in here too, probably trying to watch this one.
Either that, or we appreciate them tuning in here on Big Ten Plus for 2 of their very own at 184. Albany, Georgia's Gabe Arnold, and Cartersville's Jaxon Smith. Defended well by Smith, outside the circle. Arnold with a push at the end. And they'll just reset things in the middle. And it's getting pushy here between these two sides, and the Xfinity Center Pavilion crowd can feel it. They raise under their feet. Final minute of the third period. This is what you want when Iowa comes to town to take on Maryland. Hard-nosed Big Ten wrestling between the Terps and the Hawkeyes. Who can convert on just one single takedown, James, you think could be the difference maker here? Final 40 seconds.
This one kind of changes the trajectory a little bit of the last couple matches we have here on the ballot as well.
Work center, guys. Work center.
This match has a lot more than just meets the eye in terms of the overall scoreboard.
So 2 more on deck, but all eyes on this one between Smith and Arnold. Arnold's fighting outside the circle, and the whistle called quickly to reset things at center block with 20 seconds left in regulation.
That's on you. You got to keep them on. Okay.
Arnold and Smith. This one looks destined for sudden victory. That's what we thought could happen between these two Georgians before this one even got underway. 2 seconds, 1 second, the third period buzzer sounds. And for the first time this afternoon between Iowa and Maryland, we're heading for sudden victory wrestling.
This is where things get interesting, Ryan. This whole match has gotten the crowd elated and off their feet. This is what collegiate wrestling's all about.
Buckle up, partner. a fun one in store here. 2 minutes on the clock for Gabe Arnold and Jaxon Smith. And if it was any bout that it would come down to sudden victory, we hoped the script said it would be this one, as it is. Gabe Arnold and Jaxon Smith at 84. Iowa's led so far on the team scoreboard, but that doesn't matter for either side. They want this one at the 8th bout. Outside the circle, bring it back into the middle.
Work center, guys. Set.
A takedown for either 184 wrestler will do it. Both teams watching on with intrigue. Fans are barely able to stay in their seats here. Will it be the yellow and black who rises and cheer, or is it the Maryland fans who pick up a big win at 84 for their guy, the captain, Jaxon Smith? Arnold on top, and a whistle will set things back. 64 seconds in the first sudden victory period.
Earn it.
And this one's close, Ryan. They're trying to get close to us at the announcer's table here.
Two bigger guys in the 84 class, but they have the speed and finesse, James, to be running around the mat, as we've seen all bout.
Stay on the mat, Green. Stay on the mat, Red. Work center. Work center here. Work center.
Defended well by Smith.
Work center here.
Arnold's been in control so far in the overtime period. Smith goes for the left leg. And again, the whistle says they go too far out of bounds. Each wrestler, everything they have against their hometown counterpart in the state of Georgia.
Both wrestlers taking it personal.
30 seconds in the first overtime period.
One man's coming out on top, Ryan. That's the best and worst part about this match, is that somebody's got to win.
A bout of the year candidate here between Gabe Arnold and Jaxon Smith. Just one wrestler has to come out victorious.
A couple seconds left in the sudden victory period first.
So Gabe Arnold and Jaxon Smith, they'll flip the coin and head to another 30 seconds between this packed, sold-out crowd, Eddie Calkins, and they're excited for this 184 bout.
Yeah, this is no surprise. Arnold's dad said that they were both a couple of OGs from Georgia. The pad on its feet, nothing else for these two. This is in the moment right now for them.
Thanks so much, Eddie. This is some OG-style wrestling.
This is tough now. Jaxon cannot let Gabe Arnold get away, and that'll give Arnold the 1 point.
Arnold earns the escape. Clemson quickly up to his feet on the Maryland bench.
Clock's not.
Okay.
Doesn't look right here. Listed here at the Xfinity Center. This one is correct, though.
They'll have some discussion about it in just a moment as they try to bring it back to the center. And so after Arnold had the opportunity on bottom and escapes,
No, it was 7.
Smith will have the same. And how lightning quick to earn that 1 point. Remember, to start the third period, it took Jaxon Smith just seconds to get the escape on Gabe Arnold.
The challenge.
Brands is arguing that they had the 5 seconds, so you're right, Iowa does throw their challenge block. Remember, for collegiate wrestling, you get 1 challenge per match. If you use it successfully, you'll keep it. But if you use it and the call stands against your favor, you lose the challenge. So they'll decide to use it at 84. Really the first opportunity either team's had to throw the block, but it couldn't come in a bigger moment here between Jaxon Smith and Gabe Arnold entering the second sudden victory at 84.
These two are going to war, man. This is, I mean, the coaches are telling them different strategies and things to use. I don't know how much of it is going, you know, through the years. It's about who wants it more at this point. This is a dog-eat-dog match, and you know, I'm sure these wrestlers are happy they get a little bit of a break, though, Ryan, as the official review is going to take a couple minutes, I'm sure.
We're taking a look at that, but James, I think this is fair to say this is the 6th of 7 home matches Maryland will host this season, and this has been the most exciting single bout that we've seen so far at the Xfinity Center Pavilion in the 2024-25 season. It comes at 184 between Gabe Arnold and Jaxon Smith. Again, 2 Georgia wrestlers who grew up wrestling within the same club programs against each other. They'll take a look again if the riding time was correctly called. That's what they're looking at right now to see if Smith did hold on for long enough.
Okay, let's give him 6 seconds. Put 6 seconds on there.
It's tough, man. Looks like this one's about to get back underway. The referees are walking back out on the mats. Here's another look at that riding time. 2, 3,
After further review,
4,
there's 6 seconds
5.
of riding time. 6 seconds.
So here right there, 6 seconds of riding time will be adjusted for Jaxon Smith. Smith having a word with his head coach, Alex Clemson.
Looks like Jackson's going to choose the down position. Here's
He will.
Smith. This may decide it, Ryan. Depends how long it takes Smith to get away.
How quick are Jaxon Smith's hands? Up to his feet, working on Gabe Arnold's hands. Arnold picks him up, and Smith still fighting with those hands. Outside the circle, 3 seconds of riding time for Arnold, and Clemson will throw that challenge block right into the middle. He thought it was an illegal hold against Gabe Arnold, and the way the riding time was going up against Jaxon Smith.
Very close. If we can get another look at that locked hands. Looks like you could see it here. Arnold does have that lock in, but it's mostly the wrist lock. I think that's what Clemson of Maryland, Coach Hick Clemson, is challenging. Not sure if it's the riding time.
Saying it's an overlocked hands on Gabe Arnold.
Yeah, let's go back there.
Some discussion as well between Maryland's bench and Iowa's bench. You know, when Big Ten foes come to town, it means a little bit more in the nation's premier wrestling conference.
This one's about proving something, Ryan. Not just about, you know, Iowan history and what they've done to Maryland over the years. This one's personal. It's about each victory and about the guys that are out there on the mat bleeding and sweating to get wins.
Trying to see if there's an interlock against Gabe Arnold.
Doesn't look like there's any lock. It's grabbing that wrist, which isn't illegal. It's about the hands locking together. I don't think we saw that at all on the replay. So I think Coach Clemson is going to lose this challenge.
So reminder, we still have 2 bouts to go after this one. It's Chase Mielnik for Maryland going up against #1 Stephen Buchanan, the second at 197. And we finish off with heavyweight, where Iowa's Ben Keister has a ranked matchup against Maryland's Seth Nevills. But it's hard to even focus or think about those two coming up, partner, because this one has been more than exciting between Jaxon Smith and Gabe Arnold in front of a Xfinity Center pavilion. You see right there where there is not an open seat in the house.
Not at all, Ryan. I was thinking about sitting in the stairwell between these two bleachers. I mean, there's nothing. It's spotless. You can't even fit a drink between two people. And I don't think I've seen Jaxon Smith or Gabe Arnold make eye contact once in the last couple minutes.
It's Big Ten wrestling at its finest here from the Xfinity Center Pavilion in College Park. And they will say there is no interlock. So they'll reset at the middle, because you remember they went outside the circle when that call happened. Maryland loses its challenge for the final 2 bouts, and the remainder of this one at 184. Gabe Arnold up 2-1 on Smith. Smith needs a quick escape again, but Arnold just looks to bring him back to the mat. Smith to his feet. A return by Arnold. The swipe comes.
3, 1.
Arnold's taking the aggressor in the final seconds of this extra period. 21 seconds of riding time now, you see.
Yeah, both went out there, and Arnold is coming aggressive in this last one. Unfortunately for Smith, he's got to get the bottom again. Does have a chance to get that point, though, back.
Smith looks for the reversal, but can't do so in a clash of 2 Georgians facing off for the first time. Couple high fives between Smith and Arnold. Friends now that the competition's over, but a decision win for Gabe Arnold and a tightly contested 184 bout.
Tough for Jaxon Smith, but
Stephen Buchanan is one of those wrestlers that you pay to see as well. The #1 top-ranked 197 in the country. He puts his 9-0 record on the line against Maryland senior Chase Mielnik.
yeah, got a big win against the 4th-ranked wrestler for Penn State, Josh Barr. It was a close one for the most part, but Buchanan still took control and did what he does. I mean, he's #1 in the country for a reason, and now Chase Mielnik has a real tough one on his plate.
So here's Mielnik and Buchanan, as we say. A real test here for Chase Mielnik. 10-11 on the season, 1-3 in Big Ten duels. Will he be the first wrestler this season to earn a win against Stephen Buchanan? Well, it's not a great start, as Buchanan, the Loyola, Wisconsin native, earns a takedown.
Yeah.
Just rehashing that last one for Smith. I mean, these two wrestlers are going to see each other again. You can bet on that at the Big Ten qualifiers or maybe at the NCAAs as well. Both qualifiers in the past.
You'd love to be on hand for the sequel to that battle.
Might have to be, Ryan. Whatever admission price is, it's worth it.
Neutral. You can. But
Buchanan and Mielnik both transferring over to their respective teams. Mielnik, a senior who spent his first year at VMI. But Buchanan, a second takedown comes for the graduate student in his 6th year of collegiate wrestling.
One red.
Buchanan, such a different wrestler in his tactics to get people. He really targets the ankles, whereas most wrestlers try and get the torso, maybe the upper parts of the legs, the knees. Look at that. I mean, Buchanan just controls the match from the ground up.
Waterfall position. Buchanan has Mielnik on his back and now tries to get
Danger.
Mielnik into swipe position. Just one swipe goes against Mielnik.
Potentially dangerous call there as well.
Takedown.
Third takedown awarded to Buchanan, early 9-2 advantage, and we're just over a minute 40 into this bout. Swipes come again for Buchanan. Iowa still without a pin so far this afternoon, but those are 4 near fall points for Buchanan. Might be looking at a quick tech fall instead.
Buchanan's probably just going to hold him till he gets that riding time advantage, let him get back up.
Yep.
There it is.
Just as you call it, partner. Buchanan 14-0 on the year, 11 wins by bonus points, and he's certainly looking to do so again here against Chase Mielnik.
It's insane, Ryan. Over 75% of his matches have been bonus point wins. I mean, he's a bonus point machine.
Wasn't able to add more than the 3 points against Penn State's Josh Barr, but that was a great battle on Friday at 197. And Buchanan being one of only 2 Iowa wrestlers, along with Drake Ayala, to pick up an individual win against the Nittany Lions.
Yeah, one of 2. I mean, that just shows you that who your top guys are when it all matters. And for Buchanan, I don't believe that was a tech fall win there over Barr, though. I think it was a major decision, if that. Maybe just a regular decision.
Just a regular 5-1.
Yeah. Great job by Josh Barr.
Here's Buchanan earning the swipes now against Mielnik and gets the quick pin at 197.
I mean, this guy, Buchanan, is the best in the nation at this weight class. It's really no surprise that he did this. Mielnik is just another one in his way.
And the Oklahoma transfer gets it done, but it just sets our stage here for a fun one at heavyweight between Ben Kueter, the freshman, and the 7th-year graduate, Seth Nevills.
You talked about these two guys earlier too, Ryan. We got a guy that plays linebacker versus an offensive lineman, Seth Nevills, formerly at Penn State. Ben Kueter plays football currently for Iowa as well, expected to play in 24-25 as well. So for this one, I mean, it's a matchup between broad and bulky and, you know, lean and tall. So this is going to be an interesting one between these two guys, both ranked 12 and 11.
Just getting started here between Ben Kueter and Seth Nevills. You mentioned Kueter is a linebacker for that Iowa football team for head coach Kirk Ferentz and the Hawkeyes. Seth Nevills, the transfer over from Penn State. He had a year under James Franklin playing for the Nittany Lions program up there in Happy Valley too. So that's sports able to mix well, especially with wrestling. And these are 2 heavyweights, James, that have very different styles. The way that Maryland head coach Alex Clemson compared it was Nevills is the experienced, big burly bear versus the long, lean freshman and Ben Kueter.
Yeah, exactly right, Ryan. Clemson, when we got to talk to him, awesome opportunity, but just talking about how his impact in wrestling and how he's seen it firsthand, that anybody can get into wrestling, and he's happy that these younger guys are interested in it because size in terms of weight and other things doesn't matter too much. You know, you've got the smaller guys, you've got bigger guys like Nevills and Kueter out here, but he's hoping that sport expands into all weight classes and all kids are inspired for the next gen.
2 very different styles at heavyweight between Kueter and Nevills. One thing that's not different, though, about the two heavyweights, James, is the recent experience that both these guys have. It was both wrestlers actually took on Wisconsin's heavyweight and Illinois' heavyweight, and they had the same result, a major decision against the Badgers' Gannon Rosenfeld. But then the very next match, they lost by decision to the Fighting Illini's Luke Luffman in a top 10 battle. So you got to think, if they're wrestling against the same guys, a lot that they can take away from each other in preparation for this match against each other.
Comparatively, this is about as even as you can get in collegiate, heavyweight wrestling.
Nevills, 13-2 on the year. Only losses came, as we mentioned, to Luffman and Michigan's Josh Heinzelman versus Kueter. 10-3 so far on the season, putting that on the line here.
Saw him take a major decision loss to Greg Kirkfleet of Penn State, who was there last year, and that's somebody Seth Nevills is very familiar with, had to go up against him, and obviously formerly the Penn State connection, so very familiar with each other. As looks like Kueter's going to try and shoot here on that back leg. Great flexibility here from Nevills, the big guy.
The grip that Kueter has on Nevills' right leg, and the big heavyweight Nevills just trying to wrestle defensively. First takedown comes from Ben Kueter. And it's right before the first period buzzer. A lot of claps coming from both Iowa and Maryland fans for these two heavyweights, because Eddie Kokens, we have a sellout here at the Xfinity Center Pavilion.
Yeah, capacity's at 1,500, but we've hit 1938 is the official number. See right there, the last sellout was actually last year against #1 Penn State, who Iowa just faced this year.
Go ahead, cover legal.
Thanks so much, Eddie.
We were both able to make it to that one, Ryan. That was a pretty elated crowd, and it was packed, man. There were a lot of Penn State fans here, but the Iowans have made a good performance out here. Good attendance.
Kueter earns the escape to start the second period, just about 7 or 8 seconds into the 2-minute block.
Fingers. Clear the fingers.
This has shown that College Park in Maryland will host these big tournaments. Remember, they hosted the Big Ten Championships last year. What a crowd and event that was for the university and wrestling in the DMV community.
And of course, Ryan couldn't fit him here in the PAV, but just right next door, same building in Xfinity Center where the basketball team plays, both of them.
Clear the fingers, gentlemen.
That was a packed house. I remember I couldn't even go out to a restaurant and get seated because of how many Big Ten wrestling fans there were already out.
It was a spectacle here in College Park, and deservedly so for an event of that caliber, in which both these guys were able to have some success there in the heavyweights. Nevills in his first season with Maryland, an NCAA qualifier.
You expect Nevills to be more aggressive here in the second period, but it's tough with how much distance Kueter keeps. So his flexibility too, so even if Nevills shoots, he keeps these back legs distant so he can't hook both legs and get the takedown.
It's almost from different generations of wrestling too. Remember, Nevills a 6th-year graduate versus the redshirt freshman Kueter, and Nevills maybe used to more of this, again, the big burly heavyweight style versus Kueter, more of the modern athlete build with being long and lanky and still athletic at the heavyweight weight.
An absolute great point you bring up there, Ryan. How wrestling has modernized and changed, like we talked about with head coach Clemson. Didn't get the same opportunity to talk to Coach Tom Brands yet, but I'm sure he feels the same in how they recruit nowadays, too.
Still 4-0 in favor of the redshirt freshman Kueter, going up against the third Clovis, California native we've seen today on the mat for Maryland. His losses for Lemus, John, and now Nevills enters the third period trying to break that trend of Californians on the mat for Maryland today.
This isn't one you see often, Ryan, where one guy's got the advantage, the other one has the riding time. It's a really, really interesting match here, but Nevills got to get away here and just get that first point. You got to get something going for you.
Ryan time now back into Kueter's favor. And the big mat return from the big man from Iowa City, Iowa.
One red.
So right there near the university's campus.
Kueter just so strong. You don't see it because his frame isn't as more grounded and wide and burly as his Nevills, but just able to throw the big guy off of him is wildly impressive.
Nevills looking to come back for a win. Really similar position, James, that Nevills was in going up against Illinois when it's a top 10 team here in College Park who already won handedly. The Fighting Illini beat Maryland in 8 of 10 bouts. And so far, if Kueter beats Nevills, that'll be the same case with Iowa picking up wins everywhere besides 133 and at 157.
Some sprawl in there for Nevills. Don't see that too much. Flying around, the big guy.
He wants a takedown, he gets a takedown at heavyweight.
And he's gonna stack on the riding time now too.
Seth.
Nevills hoping to get his team to double digits. Don't remember the last time that happened in Iowa versus Maryland history.
Russell here. Starting
Riding
first.
time
Green
starting to add up for
first.
Nevills. Not enough, though, to earn him that one extra bonus point. So, James, we could be staring at the second bout that goes to sudden victory within the last 3 classes.
One.
The escape point comes out for Kueter, so that was the big reason with the riding time. Kueter up ahead now as he escapes Nevills' grip.
Nevills has to shoot
Left
now.
center.
10 seconds left. If he wants to get this win for the Terps, get him into double digits, he's got to shoot now.
Nevills couldn't stay on top. One last shot attempt. Goes astray. Kueter pushes him near the mat side seating. And the redshirt freshman gets the better of the graduate. You see Nevills fighting, using so much poise. That's why head coach Alex Clemson calls him the dancing bear at points.
You saw that sprawl, Ryan. You don't see that happen for big guys too often.
So that's a win there at heavyweight for Ben Kueter. And overall, Iowa, the #2 team in the country, will win this one against Maryland 34-9. A similar